All right, friends, good morning. It's the Healthy American Morning, and I'm Peggy Hall from thehealthyamerican.org. And today is Friday. It is the last day of September 30th, 2021. We are heading into the fall season, and what a ride it has been. The purpose of the Healthy American Morning Show is to leave aside all of the politics, all of the current events, and to help you and me keep our head above the waves in the stormy seas of life. Goodness knows we are in for some stormy seas. I'm sort of losing my voice because I just did a 3-hour live concierge call with all of you wonderful healthy Americans that have asked for help from me and my husband, Pastor David, regarding your religious exemptions. I'm not going to talk about religious exemptions on this show this morning, other than to tell you to go to thehealthyamerican.org, go on the homepage, and then watch a free 90-minute educational webinar called Everything You Need to Know About Your Religious Exemptions as Protected under Title VII of the U.S. Civil Rights Act. This video I created directed to your employer, to your HR department. I use Kaiser as the example of a letter that is filled with inaccuracies and violations of the law. So if you work for Kaiser, it's extremely important that you watch that. If you know someone who is struggling with with being persecuted for their religious views, please watch this. It's for you, 100% free. I don't even need your email address. So those who have joined us in our private group consulting calls, we dive in, we roll up our sleeves and we dive in. We've got another call coming on Monday. I hope you will join us if you want that service. If not, take advantage not only of that 90-minute free educational webinar called Everything You Need to Know. So any question you're going to be asking in the stream about that is not going to be answered by me or the moderators. They will send you over to thehealthyamerican.org, or since we're on YouTube, go ahead and watch my YouTube playlist for religious exemptions. And today we are going to talk about you and why you matter. This is a sponsored show, and I want to give a shout out to the sponsor of Peggy to the Rescue. Let me share my screen and we will hop right on over to Lightbug, L-Y-T-E, bug.com. And my message for you is California is scrambling to find backup power as the risk for blackouts grows. The state is taking emergency steps to prevent the demand for power exceeding the available supply. Your power can go out anytime. It's outside of your control. However, having backup power is completely within your own hands. This is why I love my Lightbug. The Lightbug is an ultra bright wireless floodlight that's powered entirely with solar energy. So whether hubby is working on the car, or I'm working in the home, or we've got a neighbor here fishing in our nearby pond, we are using the Lightbug. It is fantastic. I would never want to go through a power outage without it. I highly recommend the Lightbug, and you can get yours today for 20% off. It says here on the website 50% off by going to lightbug.com. You can see it right here, www.lytebug.com. Or you can visit the website. I like Weblight by visiting the link below. It is the Healthy American Morning Show, and I'm so glad that you are on board with me here. I want to tell you that you matter. You matter. Your tastes, preferences, desires, dreams, and goals matter. So often our society is telling us to put everyone else first. So it's a little bit curious to me that we often interpret that to mean that we go last, and that there's something noble and great and wonderful in going last. And I know I'm going to open up a whole can of worms here. You guys are going to be giving me Bible verses, and I completely understand. So let me explain what I mean by you matter. Think about times in your life when you have always gone along with what everyone else wants. I heard from somebody, a healthy American, the other day saying, thank you for teaching me how to stand up for my rights, how to stand up for myself. Many of us never learn how to stand up for ourselves. And because of that, we are always looking to others for validation. We are looking to others for their approval, for their support, for their appreciation. We feel that we are less than if someone else has not given us the stamp of approval. Friends, you have to give your own self the stamp of approval. If you are waiting for someone to approve of you and appreciate you, you're going to be waiting for a long, long time. Why would you wait for someone else to make you feel valuable instead of your own acknowledgement of your value, your God-given value? It doesn't make sense to me that we put so much power in the hands of others, that if they didn't return our text, we're all bent out of shape. Well, why would you give your power away? Why would you be waiting for someone else to validate you? You need to do that. You need to take control, and you need to value your own self. Let me give you an example from my own life. So for a long time, and I still have it in me, I'm what they would call a people pleaser, meaning I would be inauthentic to myself, which is kind of like living. It's like not being truthful. So when you think of you're always being a people pleaser, you're always doing what everyone else wants. You're never standing up for yourself. You're never saying, hey, this is what I would like to do. You're actually not living in your truth. I'm going to give you what might seem like a trivial example. Some years ago, many, many years ago, I bought, when I moved into my very first house, my condo, and the first home I bought, and I was furnishing it with a lot of vintage furniture. That's what I liked, and that's what I could afford. And I bought this table, like now it's all cool, like from the mid-century modern. And it was a little bit rough, and I refinished that table, a dining room table and chairs, with my dad. And I remember we were sanding it down, and we were cleaning it and refinishing it. And I have such great memories of me and my dad working on this table. And he showed me how to do it. He showed me the right grit of sandpaper. I didn't know there were different levels of sandpaper and what they would do. And we're sanding it and bringing it back to a really nice appearance. And then the chairs, we actually reupholstered the chairs. And they were quite detailed. I actually should show you a picture of one of the chairs. They were quite detailed with all this little intricate woodworking. So it was really hard to get in there and sand all the details. And then we bought foam. We had to get there. I didn't know there were different densities of foam. And I bought the fabric, and my dad showed me how to cover the chairs and staple them. And it was like at the end of the day, I had this wonderful, it wasn't the end of the day, it was several days work. I had this wonderful, not only did I have this wonderful dining room table, which had so many dinner parties and good memories associated with it over the years. But the fact that I redid that, I refinished it with my dad. I have a beautiful, warm, and wonderful memory all about that. Well, fast forward to remodeling that condo about 5 or 6 years ago. And by this time I'm married with Pastor David. And by this time we were changing our design sort of from the vintage mid-century modern, and we went super modern and glam. I call it like, it was like beach glam and very minimalist and all of that. And suddenly this table and chairs didn't match our design. It looked out of place. And I wanted to keep the table and chairs. I wanted to just keep it in the garage or in storage because I had all of those memories associated with it. We were having a sale of the other furniture that no longer went with our design. And my husband said, Peg, it's time to let it go. It's time to let it go. We don't really have place to store it. You had a good time with it. It doesn't fit. The lady down the street wants to buy it. I would just let it go. And I wanted to keep it. I wanted to keep it, but I also wanted to please my husband, and I wanted to go with the flow, and I didn't want to be selfish by keeping the table. And I sold it. I did keep one chair. I kept a chair because it's like, I really didn't want to sell that table. To this day, I regret it because I thought that my taste, and not even my preference, my desire, what I wanted, I didn't know it mattered. I didn't claim it. Now I would say, I understand you don't want to keep the table. I want to keep the table. It's important to me, and I'm going to find a way to keep the table. I'll store it. I'll pay, I'll rent it to somebody. I'll give it to my sister to keep. I'll put it up in the attic. I want to keep the table. It was important to me, and I did not honor myself with that. Now you may say, Peggy, it's a table. What are you talking about? I'm giving you an example. That's a recent example in my life where I allowed myself to be swayed by others instead of standing up for myself. In retrospect and going in the future and having had that experience, and that was recent. And over the years, I've learned how to stand up for myself. I've learned how to claim what's important to me. That was important to me to keep it. I wish I had kept it. I'm not talking about regrets. That's a topic for another day. Let me know if that has happened to you. Have you agreed to do something to please someone else because our society says what they want is more important than what you want? Why? Why is what someone else wants more important than what I want? I want an answer. Why is that? Why should I minimize my desires, goals, dreams? And I'm not talking about shirking obligations. That's a different topic. You need to live in dignity and respect. You need to conduct yourself so that you do honor your obligations and that you are responsible. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you matter. What you want matters. Stand up for yourself confidently, with dignity, with integrity, politely, cordially. I wasn't going to get into a fight over this. But going forward, if I have that situation again, I will say, sweetheart, I realize, and this is part of what we teach in our communication course, sweetheart, I realize, what I'm hearing from you is this table and chairs don't fit our style anymore. And you would prefer to declutter and streamline. You don't want to pay for a storage unit. You don't want to keep this table and chairs in the garage. You really would prefer that we let it go. I hear you and I hear what you're saying. Here's how I see things. Here's how I feel about it. I would like to keep that table and chairs. It's a fond memory of me and my dad. I may use it in the future and I would like to keep it. That's what I didn't say. Going forward, I will say that on things that are important to me. So you matter. Your tastes matter. Your preferences matter. Your desires, your dreams, your goals, all of that matters. Something also that happens frequently is when you are getting together with a friend and that friend may say, hey, there's this great place. I want to go out to lunch. Why don't we go here? And you're thinking to yourself, wow, for the last 10 times we've gone out to lunch, back in the old days when you go out to lunch, we always go where she wants to go. I never get to say where I want to go. And I've never put that forth because I might feel as though I'm selfish or I'm putting myself first. And yeah, but isn't she putting herself first? Aren't you going along with what she wants every single time? How is that? Okay, friends, I'm here to say that you matter. What you want matters. It's okay to voice what you want. Your opinion is yours. You have the right to your opinion. You have the right to your views. And if you are getting into hot water with this, with your family, friends, and loved ones and not so loved ones, please go to peggyhall.tv. We have a free 90-minute teaching that Pastor David and I did, a live class called How to Heal Broken Relationships. And if you're having a difficult time expressing yourself, being heard, hearing others, listening to others, we give you the tips and tools and techniques and strategies, solutions, resources, and remedies to help you in this area. Let me take a look at some of the chat here in our stream and see what you guys think about this. I love it. Rex says, buy it back, Peggy. I want to do that. I actually do want to do that. Thank goodness I have that chair. And what helps me is I think, well, the lady who bought it really loved it, and I know that she's going to love it and cherish it. Have you ever had that where you sold a car or some other item and you're like, oh, I really feel attached to this item? What I think about is the person who bought it and how much they love it and enjoy it. I've got a program that I teach that's called simplify and declutter. And I talk about avoiding these pitfalls of getting rid of everything. Because, you watch these shows like, the tiny house living. I have a whole nother view on that I'm going to share in another show. I think that is brainwashing people to give up their personal effects and to not own things, which they're grooming us for. But oh my gosh, I'm really losing my voice. I like Radiohead Fan Love says what someone else wants is not more important than what you yourself want. Why is that? Why do we think that is, you guys, in our society? And I love if someone opens the car door for me and does a gesture such as that. I think it's wonderful. It's gracious. I'm grateful. I'm going to talk about in another show about receiving things that people do for you without, making it a whole thing, being gracious when you receive compliments and things like that. So I'm not talking about, don't do things for other people. There's also a concept of boundaries. And I'm going to talk about boundaries on another show, but it's a little bit about that, like what you want matters. And if somebody is inviting you to go do something, you're like, I really wanted to just stay home and relax tonight. It's okay for you to stay home and relax tonight. You don't have to feel obligated to go out and meet them and do something if you don't want to do it. Now, I'm not talking about leaving your kids at the soccer field and you don't pick them up because you want to go get your nails done. That's not what I'm talking about. But do you live your life never getting your nails done? Do you live your life never doing anything for yourself? On Friday, I asked everybody to tell me what you were doing for you over the weekend that was specifically for you. It's important to take care of yourself. We are social beings. That's why people compromise. Lisa, that's such an interesting insight. And I think the compromising is a good quality. The idea is, are you always doing it? Do you never put yourself first? And what are you telling yourself in the meantime? So in that situation with my husband and the table, he probably doesn't even know about this because I was thinking about it upon reflection. And it was really over time that I was like, I really wish I still had that table. So maybe at the moment I was allowing myself to be swayed and I was talking myself into it. Have you ever talked yourself into doing something that you didn't really want to do? That's that God-given conscience. That's that discernment. That's that inner knowing of, this is not right for me. Some of you may have had situations that had a bigger impact on your life. And you're like, wow, I wish I had put myself first in this situation because it turned out not to be very good, that I allowed somebody else to sway me and I didn't stand up for myself. We all have had situations like that. Having Fun says that she's always the one to compromise. So now she has learned how to say no cordially. I like that. Cordially. It's not a battle. You're not demeaning anyone. You're just, saying, this doesn't work for me this time. And hey, last time we went where you wanted to go. Why don't next time I'll choose where we're going to go? And it's actually great to speak up for yourself. But having said that, do not judge your worth by what someone else does to you or thinks about you, because that's actually telling yourself that you don't matter. Gee, I gave the invitation to go out to dinner and they never texted me back and they don't want to go out to dinner. It doesn't matter. You matter. It doesn't matter what other people do, say, think, treat you. What matters is how you treat yourself, what you think about yourself, what you say about yourself. Stop giving your power away to others. And I want to leave on a positive note. So the PMO, the positive mental outlook, the healthy American attitude today is, hey, I matter. And what I want matters too. And just having that realization helps me pull my shoulders back, sit a little taller, breathe a little more deeply, stand in my God-given grace and power. And it's like, I'm going to make choices that make sense for me. I'm going to make choices that make sense for me. And if everybody did that, imagine if everyone who was capable of doing that, then our society would run a lot smoother because everybody would be doing things that made sense and that helped and allowed them to live in their power and responsibility. So that's really where I'm going with this. The happy ending of my story is that I saved the chair. I still have it. I sit in it. The one chair still can bring me back to the beautiful memory of working on that table with my dad, who is now deceased. And the other interesting thing, the fact that I don't have the table, I almost appreciate it more. And I don't take it for granted. And it's true, it was a little wobbly and there were a couple of stains on it and it didn't quite, the hinge wasn't right. So, but the fact is, I appreciate that table even more now that I don't have it. I can think about it more fondly, and I can think about my dad and recall those memories. Even if I don't have the table, those memories still exist. So that's what I want to leave you with. There's always that positive mental outlook. There's always another way of looking at things. I could have lived my life in resentment against my husband. I can't believe you made me give that table away. He didn't make me do anything. I was influenced, but he didn't make me do it. DB says, you love yourself when you find the beauty that you have to give and that you were created for. What a lovely expression. Marcia says, this is a part of self-confidence. And that is so nice, friends. All right, I'm about to hop off. I will be back with you. We've got our live stream this afternoon. It might be a pre-recorded live stream as a premiere because I am doing another seminar. Somebody has asked me to help his workforce with all of the exemptions. So I have to be really careful with my language these days because Google and YouTube are taking everybody down. And April says that she can relate. She has an easy chair from her dad. He passed away last October. I'm so sorry, April. I know how painful that is to lose a loved one. And she said, happy memories of thanks and joy. When we hold on to those memories, they really do help us. Speaking for myself, they really do help warm my heart. And I don't want to live in resentment. I don't want to carry anger and bitterness against my husband over a table. So that's one choice, right? The facts are the same. The table, I agreed to sell the table. Those are the facts. I did so because I wanted to please my husband and I wanted to honor him. And maybe I gave away a little bit of my own responsibility and decision making. We also do that. Like, well, you decide. I don't want to decide. Like, that is not very mature in my view. And just speaking about myself, and I gave away some of that decision making to my husband. Well, he wants to sell it, so I guess it's okay. I didn't take the time to actually think about it. So going forward, I will take responsibility for my decision making. So that's a plus. That's in the plus column. Hey, I learned something in that interaction to take a little bit more time. I could have always sold it later. It's not like all or nothing. We had to sell it that day. That's another thing. You can always delay on certain things that you may not be ready to decide on. The other thing is, so there's this situation. The table was sold. I agreed to sell the table. I could live in bitterness and frustration and bring it up every time and say, I can't believe you made me sell that table. I could do that. That's a choice. Or I could choose to say, I'm so glad that my dad and I refinished that table. It was so much fun. Now that I don't have it, I can think about it even more because I sort of miss it. And I'm so glad I have the chair. And even if that chair gets stolen or lost or broken, I will always have the memories. I can choose to think about the situation that way. And I can choose to say, hey, this was kind of a low risk thing, like a table, right? In the future, something even more significant, maybe a health event or something that entails a great significant amount of money or something like that. This is a lesson that I will remember to take a little bit more time, to not be so quick to do what someone else wants to do, and to remind myself that what I want matters too. Now, you guys know Pastor David. He is so lovely and easygoing and down to earth and relaxed and kind and gentle. You know his personality. So it's not like he was berating me or, pushing me. It was just a simple conversation, and I wanted to do what he wanted to do. We all do that sometimes, but today was my reminder that what I want matters, what you want matters, because you matter. Do not give away your power and worth to someone else because they haven't treated you the way you want to be treated. You treat yourself the way you want to be treated. Don't wait for someone else to do that. And don't give away your power. What you want matters, and you matter. All right, signing off for now, friends. Thank you so much. Love having you on board. Oh, before you leave, everybody, please hit that thumbs up. We have over 150 people watching. If we could get that thumbs up to 150, that helps this get in the YouTube algorithm. And whoever has Peggy's table, please sell it back. Please give it back to her. Oh my gosh, you're so sweet. Thank you guys are saying. You know what? That may happen. It is in our community. I'll have to see if my husband remembers who he sold it to. That is so funny. All right. Friends, I so appreciate you being positive in this stream. This is our positive, healthy American morning. It is Thursday. I will be back with you tomorrow, 10 a.m. And at 3 p.m., it's Peggy to the rescue. We roll up our sleeves, we dive in, and we actually get to the root of your issues with all of these current events. In the meantime, I beg you, would you do this for me? I'm making a little joke now. I would like you to binge watch my playlist, especially about religious exemptions. You can binge watch the playlist about employer issues, about schools, colleges, laws, legal, all of that stuff is available for you. Always at peggyhall.tv, censorship-free, ad-free, deep dive exclusive videos at thehealthyamerican.org, where you can sign up for the free newsletter and also watch that 90-minute educational webinar. Everything you need to know about your religious rights protected by Title VII of the U.S. Civil Rights Act. And the title of that video on YouTube is called Employers. You are required to accommodate religious exemptions under Title VII. Please watch it, share it. Let's get that viral so everyone knows about their rights and the laws that protect them. Thank you, everybody. I look forward to seeing you in the very next live stream. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I have the best audience on this channel. You guys are smart, savvy, supportive,